showtime. They're doing anything they want.
On ACC Live, a stunner in South Florida. Miami doesn't just beat the Blue Devils, the Canes crush them. The fallout after one of the worst losses ever by a #1 team. Duke's had plenty of better days, one of the best. January 27, 2001, the Miracle Minute.
And then you just saw that look in Maryland's eyes where they're like, oh man, like what's about to happen?
Jason Williams and Coach K look back on the incredible comeback. And that got us thinking.
Throwing deep, and he's got a man out there, Hill! Greg Hill on the tip, and it's a touchdown!
Who's the most clutch player in ACC history? Frank Reich has to be a nominee. Who else? Your votes on ACC Live. Throwback now. Welcome to ACC Live. I'm Jeff Fischel. It's Thursday. That means it's a throwback show. We look back on some of the most clutch performances in ACC history, including Jason Williams and Duke's Miracle Minute. You can add another clutch performance last night, Miami basketball. The world was watching, right? #1 Duke, a sellout crowd. Fans had been waiting for 24 hours on Larenega's lawn to get in. Coach L told them before the game, you've lived your whole lives for these opportunities. Make the most of it. Did they ever? What a night for the Canes at the Bank United Center. And they got a boost right before the game. Coach Larenega says that's when he found out Reggie Johnson could help the team out. He came off the bench first half. Miami gets the steal and the score from Duran Scott. He was so good last night. The lay-in 13-9 Hurricanes, and then it's Scott again for 3. This starts a run, and not just any run, a run that Canes fans will remember for decades. Shane Larkin there, and then off the screen, it's Duran Scott again. This now a 14-1 Miami run, and it would get bigger in large part because the Blue Devils could not buy a basket. They went 8 straight minutes in the first half without a field goal. Seth Curry, 0 of 5 from 3 in the game, 0 of 10 from the field. Quinn Cook, 1 of 12 from the field. Tyler Thornton, 0 of 7 from the field. This team came in shooting 42% from threes. They shot 18% in the first half from the field. Meanwhile, the Canes couldn't be stopped. Kenny Kaji, the lay-in and the whistle. A 25-1 Hurricane run. The Canes led 42-19 at the half, and they did not take their foot off the gas pedal in the second half. Shane Larkin, the drive, the score, the whistle. His dad, the Hall of Famer Barry Larkin, loves it. A 30-point Miami lead. This is on the #1 team in the country. Then it's Julian Gamble with the block. Larkin ahead to Ryan Brown, and this one really brought the house down. Brown flies in. The big jam, the flex, the yell. 69-42 Canes. Then breaking the press. Watch this whole sequence right here. The alley-oop to Kaji for the jam. He had 22.6 boards. Duke tries to push it back up court quickly. Mason Plumlee rejected by who else? Kaji, and that starts another Canes break. Trey McKinney-Jones left alone for the Trey. Buries it. Miami. Oh yeah, stormed the court. 90-63. The third largest win ever against a #1 team. The first time ever the Canes have beaten a #1 team. Coach Jim Larenega could not have been more proud of his team.
I think our guys were very ready. We had a week to prepare. That was huge. We got some time to rest. We got Reggie back, which I didn't know until late today. And he did a great job of giving Julian some quality rest. Shane and Duran were great, Kenny great, so just a great team effort. When my staff and I decided to come, the reason was we felt like the ACC is the best basketball league in the country. Where would you want to coach? This league is the best. Duke is great, Carolina's great, the whole league is terrific, and just getting better.
I don't think I've ever seen Jim Larenega look so happy. And even long after the game was over, the Miami players were still celebrating and thanking the crowd. Shane Larkin tweeted this out. When the Bank United Center is rocking like that, it gives us a lot of energy and makes us want to win for y'all even more. Another huge thank you. It was rocking at the Bank United Center. You could feel the energy. Julian Gamble, 5 points, 10 rebounds, 4 blocks. Thank you so much, everyone. Words can't begin to describe how thankful I am for the support. We are far from done. That was one of the messages Larrañaga gave after the win last night. We have a lot more big games coming up. We have got to be ready for everyone. And you know what? Canes fans, they're ready for it too. They were calling last night Operation Sellout, and it's not over. This morning, the school announced Saturday's game against Florida State is now a sellout as well. So Operation Sellout going strong. Miami students and the community buying into this team. And right now, why not? We're asking you in one word, how would you describe Miami's win? Tweet us at the ACCDN right now. We are getting some great responses. We will show some of them coming up. Duke has to respond and regroup quickly. Next up, Maryland on Saturday. It was 12 years ago this week the Blue Devils came back from 10 down in the final minute to beat the Terps. It's now known as the Miracle Minute. What made it all the more miraculous, for the first 39 minutes, Jason Williams, the best point guard in all of college basketball at the time, had been having the most frustrating game of his career. And in a flash, it all changed.
Up to that point in the Maryland game, he had one of the most horrendous games that a kid of his ability could ever have. And then something turned on, and for him, if one thing turned on, then boom, all these things could turn on, and they did. And he and the game could become one. Not many players can do that.
We were coming out of the huddle, and it was one of those huddles where, Coach always had a good way about expressing that we always stay in the fight, right? We're never going to concede. We're always going to continue to fight all the way through, even if we lose. And he gave this great speech, and Shane Battier got us all in the huddle, and we're talking about how we're going to go into our full court press on the main shot. And all of a sudden, I don't usually hear fans, but at that moment, I heard fans yelling overrated, right? And I said before, I was the guy, I had to play angry. And for some reason, just hearing people say overrated, and Jay Williams, you suck, and it just got me pissed off, man.
The crowd on their feet. Williams goes down the lane to lay it in. Duke can no longer stop the clock. 53-5 to go. It's an 8-point lead.
Get a quick layup, and then I'll never forget Drew Nicholas, he had this look on his face that he didn't really want the basketball, right? And we had fouled Steve Blake out at the time on that drive. And Drew got the ball, went to the corner, and I swiped down, got the ball, knocked down a three. And then you just saw that look in Maryland's eyes where they're like, oh man, like what's about to happen? And you foul Drew Nicholas again, and trust me, the whole way down the court, Chris Duhon and I are yapping in his ear, like about, hey, this is gonna be short, hey, this is gonna be long. He ain't ready to make this shot. He's not a big time player. He comes off the bench, Chris, right? We know it's gotta, we were talking to him the whole time. And he missed the shot. He missed both shots.
Missed them both. Duhon with a rebound. It's a 5-point game. Duke has the ball. Do you believe what you're seeing? It's another 3. It's a 2-point game.
And then came down the screen and roll again. I'll never forget. Shane's like, hey, I'm going to headhunt your man. Just come off me and let it fly. Right? That's, again, your teammate after a horrible game, right? Telling you, let it fly. And Danny Miller closed out to me with his hands down. And as soon as I saw his hands down, I'm like, hey, man, this thing's going up. And it goes up and it goes in, and it's like all of a sudden it's a 2-point ball game, and everybody in that gym was like, what just happened?
Dixon into the lane.
Oh, Battier blocks it. Unbelievable.
Williams with the ball.
Wow.
It's the most remarkable comeback I have ever seen.
The best part about that game was we come back, the game goes into OT, we win. And Shane Battier, and this is one of the best things about Shane Battier and about that team. We're gonna win that game, right? And it's a miraculous comeback, and everybody talks about it. But Shane Battier says, hey, listen, nobody celebrate. Let's walk off the court. We expected to come back and win this game. That's how we have to hold ourselves, to that high of a standard. And that was the best feeling, walking off that court and shaking their hand and just being like, yep, okay, next game.
It's awesome how his memories of that game are so vivid. Duke and Maryland actually played 4 times that year. Besides the 2 regular season meetings, they met in the ACC tournament semifinals. That was epic as well. Maryland rallied from 14 down but lost on a bucket with less than 2 seconds left. Then they met again in the Final Four. Duke won that one 95-84, then beat Arizona for the national title. Check out the Kings of the Court to catch up with former Georgia Tech star Kenny Anderson, who now is a coach, and go behind the scenes with Jay Will in the broadcast booth. Check your local listings for Kings of the Court. Miami is dealing with another stunning story, but a very different kind. The NCAA admits it is the one that has broken rules during the investigation of Miami's athletic department. NCAA officials went outside their jurisdiction by using testimony from the attorney for Nevin Shapiro, who's accused of giving Miami athletes illegal benefits. It's unclear what happens next, but Miami had been expecting a verdict soon. In a statement, school president Donna Shalala said she's frustrated and disappointed, but added the school will continue to cooperate with the NCAA. Let's not forget, the Canes football team passed on a chance to play in the ACC title game this past season to show the NCAA it was fully cooperating with the investigation and taking responsibility for the rules violations. There are other stories making headlines across the conference. Here's what's happening in the ACC now. While everyone is lavishing well-deserved praise on the Canes, have you noticed what North Carolina is doing right now? Roy's boys played very well last night against Georgia Tech. James Michael McAdoo, the slam right there. And then you have to worry about Reggie Bullock from the three-point line, the ACC Player of the Week. Buries it in the second half. He led UNC with 17 points. Tar Heels taking a 15-point lead. And then Dexter Strickland, the steal. Ahead to P.J. Hairston. He is instant offense off the bench, and he's fearless. Right up against a 7-footer, throws it down. 15 points off the bench for him. And then the Tar Heels get some help from the freshman, J.P. Tokuto. Follows his own miss. That's a good lesson for the kids out there. Follow your own miss. 79-63 the final. Next up for the Tar Heels, the good battle against NC State. Leslie McDonald did not play last night, game one of a 3-game suspension. North Carolina won't say why he was suspended, but Coach Roy Williams says he didn't take care of his responsibilities as a student athlete. In a statement, McDonald apologized for it and says he'll do what he can in practice to help his team get ready for games against NC State and Boston College. Miami Hurricanes running back Mike James could be helping his draft status. He's been invited to play in the Senior Bowl this Saturday in Mobile, Alabama. Last weekend, he also played in the Collegiate Bowl. James and Duke Johnson shared the load this past season for Miami. James rushed for over 600 yards and 6 touchdowns. And that is the ACC now. And women's hoops right here on the ACC DN. It's tomorrow, live 7 p.m. here on the ACC Digital Network. Number 22, Florida State, one of the best offenses you'll see in the country, taking on Georgia Tech. I will be there to call the action in Tallahassee. Again, the game streams live on the ACC Digital Network starting at 7 Eastern. All right, we're asking you this morning, we want to know, Miami's win over Duke was blank. Remember Mad Libs? Fill in the blank. Miami's win over Duke was blank. Let's put this in the context, of course, for Duke fans who, after last night's loss, are still hoping for a national title. The last time a team had a 27-point loss and went on to win the title that same year, it was 1965. So Blue Devils and fans, it can happen. It can. Keep the hope alive. Coming up after a break, the all-time clutch players in the ACC. Charlie Ward was clutch in 2 sports. J.J. Redick, who else? That's next.
Out with the old and in with the delicious. Commit to bold taste with the new Flavor Resolutions menu at Ruby Tuesday. 10 entrees starting at $9.99. Try our savory barbecue brushed ribs and bacon wrapped shrimp. Or take it up a notch by adding coconut crusted shrimp to our mango salsa topped Caribbean chicken. Plus, enjoy our endless garden bar, free with any chef inspired entree. Ruby Tuesday. It's all good here. Start the new year with savings. Visit rubytuesday.com today for a $5 coupon.
What's better, bigger or smaller?
Bigger!
So which would you rather have, a big treehouse or a small treehouse?
If it's big enough, you can have a disco. Oh, yeah.
Why do you not want a smaller treehouse?
Because it wouldn't be able to fit a flat screen TV, and then the TV would be about this big, and you would have to hold the wire. In the position you would hold the wire, you wouldn't be able to see the TV.
That's a pain in the buns.
Yep. Yeah.
It's not complicated. Bigger is better, and AT&T has the nation's largest 4G network.
The ACC Digital Network, the ultimate video destination for ACC fans. Exclusive highlights, live streaming games, and original live programming, unique access to the student athletes of our time and the legendary voices of all time. Defining moments, personal stories, incredible analysis from authentic ACC sources, cutting-edge content from the leaders in the digital space. The ACC Digital Network, brought to you by Ruby Tuesday.
Good afternoon, Chase Sapphire. This is Stacey from Springfield.
Oh,
Hello?
Yes, I didn't realize you'd be talking to an actual person.
You don't need to press 0. I'm here.
Reach a person, not a prompt, whenever you call Chase Sapphire.
Bernard fields it at the 26. He's at the 50. No, he's not. Yes, he is. Gio is going to take it for a touchdown.
For the upset. Lennon, touchdown Wolfpack. Underwood. Comes the ball. Jerem shot snare. Good shot. Knowles win. Knowles win. The little team that could just did.
He'll try to step back with 1 second. Let's fly. Got it! The Blue Devils win it over North Carolina. 85-84. Oh my gosh. I do not believe this.
Those are all some great clutch moments. We're talking clutch here on Throwback Thursday on ACC Live on the ACC Digital Network, brought to you by Ruby Tuesday. I'm Jeff Fischel. The Miami Hurricanes were clutch last night. Who are some of the all-time great clutch players in the ACC? We asked you. You had some great answers. Adam Bridgers wrote in, Randolph Childress, no contest. I have to tell you, he was, without a moment's hesitation, the first name that popped into my head. For you kids out there, Childress had major swag and backed it up at the 95 ACC tourney, averaging 36 points, 7 assists a game, and the final against the Carolina team that was stacked, including Jerry Stackhouse, Rasheed Wallace. He poured in 37 and hit the game winner with 4 seconds left in OT. Randolph Childress was a man at Wake Forest. All right, more tweets. What do we have? As much as I can't stand Duke, J.J. Redick comes to mind. Mr. Golden Shoes, Dustin Hopkins, also a good call. Wow. Boy, J.J. Redick, so good from long range. He left Duke as the ACC's all-time leading scorer. At Cameron, he was loved. In every other ACC arena, he was loathed. But that's what happens when you're money. Dustin Hopkins was so money, he leaves Florida State as the leading scorer amongst kickers in NCAA history. He was that good. What else do we have? From Carlton Wood, Charlie Ward, Florida State, great call. Quarterback and a point guard, right? He could do it on the basketball court and on the football field. He was great for some great Knowles hoops teams, and of course in football, he won the Heisman Trophy and won a national title with the Knowles. It's hard to argue. Charlie Ward was definitely clutch. And we have one more, right? How about Frank Reich? Now this one, it's family. It's all about family. We got this from Frank Reich's daughter, Leah, but she's right. Frank Reich wasn't just clutch in college. He was in the NFL, too. At Maryland, he led the Terps to what was then the greatest comeback in college football history against the defending national champs, the Miami Hurricanes. Then with the Buffalo Bills, he led them to the greatest comeback in NFL history, and that was a playoff game. No fear from Frank Reich. All right, who else did we get votes about? Michael Jordan, of course. Obvious, had to be said, right? Everyone remembers all of his clutch hoops in the NBA. But he first became famous when, as North Carolina freshman Mike Jordan, he hit the jumper that beat Georgetown in the '82 title game. A couple of other Tar Heels got votes. Ray Felton, Casey Barth, that's a good one. He hit the game winner, the kicker, against the Miami Hurricanes. Thank you for all of your votes. We should add, now, the entire Miami Hurricanes basketball team. They were fantastic last night. It was a night of some must-see moments.
Transition, Strickland gets it on the slam. Oh, my! P.J. Hairston.
And it's over.
Here they come. Here they come. Oh!
The celebration begins here in the Coral Gables. The Miami Hurricanes not only beat number one, they destroy number one.
I tweeted it out last night. I don't think I've ever seen an entire court filled with court stormers. It was an impressive moment last night at the Bank United Center. And it seems like everyone in the ACC world was watching, including former NC State and NFL football star Torrey Holt. He tweeted directly to his buddy and former Miami Hurricane Warren Sapp. This was the tweet. You guys are playing above the rim tonight. And Warren Sapp sees the tweet and responds and says, you see us slap the floor on Duke? Now, this was a moment that I missed, but then went back and watched the tape. It happened so fast. Okay, here's the story. When Shane Larkin was about to shoot some free throws, Sapp yelled at him to get the guys to slap the floor. All right, now ACC fans know, right? This is signature gesture from the Duke Blue Devils when they fire up a Cameron crowd. Sapp knows this. He wants to stir the pot a little. All 5 guys do it. Should be interesting to see if Duke fans took any offense. The Canes travel to Durham March 2nd. We want to know, in one word, how would you describe Miami's win? Tweet us at the ACCDN. As the show's been going on, we've been getting tweets. I can't keep track of them all. The boys in the booth, have you been keeping track? We had Reva tweet in, historic, amazing, and proves Duke is overrated every single year. That seems like a little much, right? They've won 4 national titles with Coach K, but I could see why, as you're a Canes fan, you want to dig in a little today after the big win. Austin wrote in, awesome. Definitely. Again, we've been getting your tweets. Follow our Twitter feed at the ACCD, and the hashtag for this show is ACC Live. Oh, here's another one. There you go. That's what we've been asking. Historic, amazing. I think Duke is good. What else do we have? There you go. People are commenting about this game nonstop here on our ACC DN Twitter feed. We want to appreciate all your comments about this game. It's been fantastic. What else? Oh, I've got a list here. Grotesque, program changing, expected. Someone says, hey, I expected the win last night. Breathtaking, Miami's coming out party. That's a good one. And then someone wrote, worse than cable. Clearly a Duke fan who's not happy with the loss or with their cable. But let's talk about, let's move the clock forward. What about tonight's games? It's time for our weekly menu brought to you by Ruby Tuesday. Clemson visits Florida State. Clemson relies on that front line of KJ McDaniels, Milton Jennings, and Devin Booker to not only score but also dominate on the boards and change shots. Florida State, hey, needs a win, right? I checked the game simulator from SCACCHoops.com. The game sim likes the Tigers in this one. Game sim also likes the Hokies in the battle for the state of Virginia. Both teams have an RPI below 100, although advanced stats like the Cavs quite a bit. Tex Eric Green, you know all about him. He leads the nation in scoring, 24.6 points a game. And a great women's matchup tonight. Number 11, North Carolina against 10th-ranked Maryland. The Tar Heels, led by Tierra Ruffin-Pratt and freshman Zelina McDaniel, daughter of the X-Man, Xavier McDaniel. Maryland has that 1-2 punch of Alyssa Thomas and Tiana Hawkins. They're both averaging a double-double. Let's give you one closing thought here on ACC Live. It seems appropriate for a throwback show to go back exactly 20 years ago today, January 24th, 1993. Duke and Florida State. 6th-ranked Blue Devils. They were leading 88-86 in overtime. This game featured 7 future NBA players, but it was a little-known player for the Florida State Seminoles, Byron Wells. He hit a 3, and Florida State, watch as he hits a 3. Now, you remember this? It rolls all around the rim before it goes down. That was 20 years ago today, giving Florida State the 89-88 win. Flash forward 2 decades, the other Florida school in the ACC is going bonkers after beating the top-ranked Blue Devils, and this Saturday, it's the Canes and the Noles going head-to-head. And again, as I told you earlier, it is a sellout in Coral Gables. Hey, tomorrow on ACC Live, it's Kelly Nash and J.R. Reed. They will be here for ACC Live tip-off to preview all of the weekend's games. Thanks for watching ACC Live.